Hey friends, Kevin here coming at you from home base. These will probably be uploaded while I'm on the road. But anyway, I want to get to a question that comes up all the time in different forums, different groups, which is this. Do I need full coverage insurance on my minivan, cargo van, camper van, whatever I'm using? And for some reason, people start arguing. You get all kinds of these whack job answers from people. It's not hard. I'm going to make this really simple give you some guidelines on what you need. And here they are. First of all, if your van, camper, whatever you're using is financed for doing van life with, you're going to need to have full coverage insurance. As a matter of fact, it's probably going to be a requirement that you have full coverage insurance if you're making payments on it. So that part's pretty simple. But let's talk about all the people out there who have a vehicle that they have paid for now and they have a title to in their hand. This, for some reason, is what everyone wants to make complicated, and it's not. Here's how simple it is. You figure out what you have in your vehicle, and you figure out how much money you have in the bank that you can count on if something happens. Because insurance on your vehicle is for something major happening. And if you're out trying to do van life or you're out traveling on long trips, you have two scenarios basically that can come up. One, your vehicle, your van is going to be crashed, or two, your vehicle, your van is going to be stolen. So here's the simple answer. Do you have enough money in the bank to replace that vehicle in a worst case scenario? And the answer is going to be yes or no. And depending on that answer, it's going to depend on what your choice is going to be. So let's look at both of those answers. If the answer is no, I don't have enough money in the bank to replace that vehicle if I'm 1,000 miles from home and something happens, then the answer, especially if that is your only vehicle, is going to be you need to have full coverage insurance on it. Because you're going to have to replace it, and if you don't have the money in the bank, you're not going to have anything to replace it with, and you're going to be stranded wherever you are. Not a scenario that anyone wants to have happen. Now, if your answer is yes, I have enough money to replace my van if it's totaled or if it's stolen, then you get into having to weigh the risk that you are comfortable with enduring. Now, if you've watched other videos on this channel, you know that I have two different vans I travel in at different times. One is the gold minivan and the other one is a large white converted cargo van. I have much more money in that white van. So, being borderline how much risk I'm willing to take, the risk comes down to this. In the big van, I have it covered. I have it insured for a certain amount. So, if the worst case scenario happens, I'm going to be covered. With that gold minivan, which, by the way, I originally paid $1,800 for, I'm willing to take the risk, especially now 3 years later, if something happens. Because I'm in a position, luckily enough, that I have enough money set aside, and this was always my plan and why everybody has to have some money set aside if they're going to go on these long trips. But my plan was always, if something catastrophic happened, engine failure, transmission failure, that I would basically junk it wherever I was at and just buy another van. But I was also willing to do that if it got totaled or if the van got stolen somewhere. So you have to weigh what that extra cost per month or every 6 months or however you pay is going to be for the amount of money you would get back. Now, if you're dealing with a $1,500 vehicle and you have a $500 deductible, you're only going to be getting $1,000 back from the insurance company. Now, granted, you may have something else on there that will factor into your decision. Maybe you have a towing plan built onto it. You know, maybe because you're on the road, maybe they'll put you in a hotel room for a day or two. That may weigh into that. But you've got to decide, is that money you're spending worth what you would potentially get out of it? And again, it is risk management. That's what all insurance is, risk management. It's risk management for the companies selling it. That's how they price it. But it's also risk management for you. And that's the way you have to look at it. Now, if you're the type of person that's going to sit and worry and worry and worry about something happening, then yes, go ahead and get the insurance and pay the extra money for it. Because it's not worth you worrying yourself to death and stressing out while you're on the road because something might happen. But if you're willing to accept that risk and you have enough money set aside to cover it, and you're okay with that level of risk management, then you can save that money rather than give it to the insurance company. But you've got to be willing to accept the good and the bad that can happen. If nothing happens for several years, you've probably saved more than enough money to pay for the van. If you go out and you accept that risk level with insurance on your camper van, and the first month or two something happens, the question is, are you going to be the type of person that's going to be kicking yourself going, boy, what a dummy. I wish, why did I not go ahead and get full coverage insurance? You can't look at it like that. You've got to be willing to accept that risk level if you're going to not carry full coverage insurance on a van that's paid for. So hopefully I made that simple for everybody. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Do you think I'm wrong? If you want to share that with other people, you can put what, roughly the value of your vehicle is and whether you choose to have or not have full coverage insurance and why. Everybody can kind of learn from each other, but this is my opinion on it. And we'll get to more van videos, van builds, repairs, all that fun stuff that you can learn from soon. Everybody take care.